Welcome to the Spartan Sports Network Weekly Wrap-Up Show. And now, here's your host, Walt Fowler.
Welcome to the Spartan Sports Network Weekly Recap for September 24th. I'm Walt Fowler, and once again, we start with sprint football. Why not? The sprint football team from Sparkill looking good in their inaugural season as St. Thomas Aquinas beat Caldwell at Caldwell 35-21. Luke Sullivan, another big game, 5 touchdown passes, including 2 to James Hannigan. Carlos Fernandez hauled 1 in. Fernandez also rushing for more than 100 yards. Joe O'Hara and Justin Sapini also with TD receptions. So the Spartans now 2-0 on the young season. Big test this coming week as they head to West Point to take on Army. Army undefeated at 2-0, and also the defending Collegiate Sprint Football League champs. Should be a good game. We wish the Spartans the best of luck. Let's turn to soccer. Good week for men's soccer as they posted 2 wins. Tuesday, the men's soccer team won at Washington Adventist 3-2 in overtime. Federico Scaglione scored his second of the season. Lachlan Wilkinson, his second of the season. And then the big game winner came from Stavros Strati, the OT winner, as they win 3-2 at Washington Adventist. Saturday, also on the road, the men's soccer team wins at Queens College 2-0. George Yusuf with his third of the season, and Cliff Ajay scoring as well. So they now improve. The men's soccer team improves to 5-2-1. Very impressive start for the men's soccer squad. This coming Saturday, the men's soccer squad will play at Bridgeport. Fairly good week for the women's soccer team as well. On Tuesday, they won versus Nyack 3-0. Angelica Sanchez scoring twice for the women's soccer squad, as did Kelsey Ardizone. She scored 1 goal, so they win 3-0 and improved to 3-2. And then on Saturday, the women's had a draw at Queens, a 1-1 draw. Caitlin Speranza scoring the lone goal for St. Thomas, and that was her second of the season. Heading into this week, the women's soccer squad 3-2-1 overall and 1-1 in conference play. Friday, the women's soccer squad heads to Connecticut to play Bridgeport. That game under the lights, a 6 p.m. start on Friday. The men's and women's cross-country squad competed in the Harry F. Anderson Invitational, that at Roberts Wesleyan College in Rochester this past Saturday. At the Spartans Athletics Fall Festival at Boulders Stadium on Sunday, I caught up with the men's and women's cross-country head coach, Nicole Ryan, and got her lowdown on how the Spartans cross-country team performed in Rochester. Nicole, another event under your belt, the Harry F. Anderson in Rochester. Your thoughts?
We had a great weekend this weekend. We went up to Roberts Wesleyan College in Rochester. We were just trying to see the course because they'll be hosting the East Coast Conference Championship this year. So we wanted the athletes to get a feel on how they're going to race when that time comes.
And now this week you have a week off, in essence a bye week.
It is a bye week. It works out well because it gives us a chance to train over 2 weeks, really put some work in that will benefit us later in the championship season. You know, we come back to action at NJIT, which is a flat and fast course, so I think a lot of our athletes will see good drops in time.
And anyone in particular to kind of rocketing to the top as far as what you're seeing? Anyone giving you consistent performances?
This was actually a really good weekend for us, I think specifically for my newcomers and my freshmen. Coming off the Notre Dame race, and especially the men who went from the 5K in high school to the 8K in college, they really started to drop their times and understand how to race the race. On the men's side, Ian Myrtle, who is a transfer, really stepped up. On the women's side, I think Abigail Kimbrell and Rebecca McLeod really just did what they needed to do in leading our team.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
And that was men's and women's cross-country head coach Nicole Ryan. In golf this past week for the Spartans, on Monday and Tuesday, the golf team competed in the Penman Invitational at Dartmouth, and the Spartans finished 4th overall. Franklin Pierce won the event. Travis Fay shot a 71 and 72, 2-round total of 143. He was tied for 9th. And then this past weekend, the Spartans competed in the AIC Invitational in Springfield, Massachusetts, and they finished second overall, only 4 shots behind the winner, Bentley. And Travis Fay, another impressive performance. He was even par for his 2 rounds with 73 and a 71, 2-round total of 144. Jake Yarmolowitz also looking good. He finished tied for 5th at 3 over with rounds of 73, 74, a 2-round total of 147. Up next for the golf team, they will compete in the Post-University Invitational in Watertown, Connecticut. That is on Monday, October 8th. In field hockey, the Spartans field hockey team lost versus Manhattanville 2-1, a tough loss. That was a 2-1 loss in overtime with Jacqueline Dowling getting her 3rd of the season, the lone goal for the Spartans. They fell to 2-7, but then they came back with a win on Sunday at Kings, winning at Kings College 3-0. Brianna Thorne got her 6th of the season, Jacqueline Dowling her 4th of the season, and then Alexandra Vipolis scoring. And now the field hockey team is now 3-7 on the season. Monday, October 1st, field hockey plays at LIU Post. Hey, the men's hockey team is underway with their season starting this past Saturday. They played Marist in Poughkeepsie. They lost the season opener 6-3. Tyler Brooks, Pat Burns, and Doug Harrison all scoring for the Spartans as they fall to 0-1. I caught up with hockey head coach Matt Schuster at the Falls Festival at Boulder Stadium, and despite the loss, Coach Schuster happy that the season is underway. All right, Matt, got a game under your belt. Last night at Marist didn't come out the way you liked, losing 6-3, but your thoughts?
Well, we were very pleased with the effort and the result, given the fact that Marist is a Division II program and we're Division III. They were very highly ranked regionally last year, and they had a lot of returning players. They're an established program. We're still in a little bit of a rebuilding mode. We're in year basically 2 of our rebuilding mode and playing a full schedule. So, you know, when you look at the big picture, it was a good first game under our belts, and our conference schedule starts in a couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to that. And what expectations? You said rebuilding expectations for the season. We as a team set a common goal of making the conference playoffs. So the MCHC is our conference, and the top 4 teams make the playoffs. So we would like to get into the top 4 there. And you know, teams like Fordham was the champs last year. Fordham University, they're very good. And Suffolk County Community College, there's a lot of hockey players out on Long Island, so they're always good. They were in the playoffs. Hofstra is in the mix. And Stevens was good last year too. But we competed with all those teams last year, and I think we're better this year after another year of recruiting and adding some players. So I'm looking forward to hopefully reaching our goal of making the playoffs. All right, but first things first, a little fun game coming up, if that's the right word, you tell me, but the annual alumni game with Stack. That is correct, yes. It's totally about fun. We invite all alumni, anyone. The program started in the year 2000. It was a club, and it still is club, but it's gone through some changes through the years, and there's a pretty rich pool of talent in terms of the alumni, and they all still play hockey. Every adult plays hockey until they turn in their 60s and 70s sometimes. So there's some really good alumni that they beat us last year, and we'd like to beat them this year, but it's about fun. It's a fun night. And hopefully you get a good turnout. Thanks, Matt. Yes, thank you, Walt. Appreciate it.
And that is St. Thomas Aquinas hockey head coach Matt Schuster. As for men's tennis, they start their season this week as the men will play Jefferson. That's a 3 p.m. start, a home game for the men's tennis squad on Thursday. Women's tennis this past week, they split 2 matches. They lost to Queens 7-0, but then they came back and got their first win of the season, beating Malloy 5-2. So the women's tennis team overall now 1-4 on the season and 1-3 in conference play. Up next for the tennis team Tuesday, the women's tennis squad will be at Roberts Wesleyan. And that wraps up our Spartans weekly recap. We'll be here next week for all the latest on Spartan sports. I'm your host, Walt Fowler. See you next week. Spartan Sprint football fan, the season is underway and the Spartans are ready to play. Their next home game Saturday, October 20th, the Spartans are home against Cornell University. Game time 4 p.m. at the Torn Valley Sports Complex in Hilburn. St. Thomas Aquinas College taking on Cornell October 20th at Torn Valley. Go Spartans!